There we go.
Yeah.
All right, everyone.
We're
This is
there.
good stuff. Great stuff. So, everyone, I just want to, I can't see who is with us at the moment, but I know you're out there. So, with that, there it is. There it is. I see it. Okay. Everyone, welcome to the Masters of YouTube inaugural live stream. My name is Paul. I'm the host of the DevRunner channel, and I'm so pleased tonight because I'm joined by three of my favorite YouTubers. We've got Rosser from RosserRuns, we've got Suzie from I Run Things, and we've got Heather from RunningGeekGirl. And amongst us, we are intending to have some fun tonight. And everybody who joins, I already see Chris Furlong has joined us, and I see that Rachel has joined us from Run Free and Strong. Hey guys, I see my wife has joined us. And I see that Alyssa Anderson is already online. She is an amazing runner that I know through Instagram, and I'm going to stay on her until she starts her own YouTube channel because she's amazing. So,
yay, do it.
The more the merrier.
Exactly. The bigger this community gets, the better off we all are. So, guys, I think I know everybody who's on here already. So I don't know how much of a introduction we need to do for the people who are with us at the moment, but it's probably a good idea because this thing is going to be archived and eventually will be floating around the internet on YouTube. So we're going to probably meet a lot of new people.
I never signed up for that.
So just to keep it simple, my name is Paul. As I said, I host the DevRunner channel. I've been running for like 10 years. I got started, I pretty much jumped straight into, I ran one half marathon and went straight into marathoning after that. Only in the last year have I started running shorter races and had enough guts to actually go for like races where you have to go fast. And on the other end of that spectrum, I've never run yet an ultra. But I'm going there within the next couple of years. I know I'm probably going to make a complete switch over from road racing to trail racing. So, that's why I love having the three of you here, because I know between the four of us, we cover the gamut of the different ways and the different approaches to running. So with that, I feel like I've already talked too much. So Rosser, I'm going to just bounce it to you and let you introduce yourself.
Sweet. Brian from RosserRuns. See here, background would be, was athletic in high school, then went in the military. After the military, I got fat and lazy, became an alcoholic and an addict. Got fat from that part, so ballooned up pretty heavily. My kids made fun of me. After my son was like 5 or so, said I had a belly like Santa, flipped the switch. From that, I started to make some like habit changes and went back into martial arts and like boxing and things like that. And I used running as something for cardio, and took me 30 days to run 1 mile without stopping. Signed up for a half marathon, which seemed dumb because who wants to run 13 miles? That seems absurd. Ended up running the 13 miles and was like, I could probably run a little bit further. And then I got the running virus and went to marathon, 50K, 50 miler, 100K, 100 miler. I like ultras. Trail is where it's at for me. I live in Countryland, so I have a lot of rolling hills and roads that are beautiful to run in, but trail is where it's at for me. I like to do dumb things, and started the YouTube channel to document for my friends and family, to show how dumb I am and the crazy stuff that I'm doing. So now I use running instead of drugs and alcohol. I'm not 220 anymore. I'm about 170 to 180, depending on race weight and stuff like that. A lot healthier. Running saved me, and I use YouTube and social media to hold me accountable. And it ballooned from friends and family to I have larger amount of friends and family now that I meet online, and we have good times. So that's my long story in a nutshell. So we can pass it on.
Yay.
You amaze me. You inspire me and you motivate me. So
Yeah,
the things you do are just incredible. I just want to give some quick shout outs. Lori Reed, thank you for being here. Running Crazy,
Hi, Lori.
awesome. Thank you for joining.
Hi, Laurie.
Cool. All right, I'm going to bounce it to you, Suzie. Give us a little bit about yourself for those who don't already know you.
So, Suzie, I host the channel I Run Things and the podcast as well. I've been running 4.5 years. I started running because of a dare with my brother. He wanted to lose weight. He was on a diet. He lost a lot of weight, and then he kind of hit a plateau. So then he started running, and I told him, if you sign up for a 10K, I'll sign up with you and I'll run it with you. And then he never ran anything else, but then I kept going. So that first year that I ran, I went from a 10K to a half marathon to a full marathon. My first full marathon was 3 days before my first run ever. So I was never athletic in high school. I always joke saying that I was someone who ran a kilometer because I'm from Europe. So we run kilometers, not miles. When I ran the kilometer, I ran it in 11 minutes. When now I can do a kilometer in like 4 something. So that tells you everything. I mean, you can get into running late in life and still, get out there and give it your all. So I started the YouTube channel, like many of us, just to document our journey and see progression. And because I didn't know anybody in the running world, it was a little bit of just to talk to someone because I was talking to the camera as I was running. I didn't feel so alone. And then started the podcast, and I am truly enjoying connecting with the running community because I just don't feel alone anymore. I feel like I get messages from people every single day, every hour. I get a message from someone. So to me, that's what running has given me, just the connection with other people. So yes, it's health. It makes me feel good, but it's also the connection with other people. If I was doing this in a bubble, I don't think I would enjoy it, but not as much as I'm truly enjoying it right now.
Right.
I gotcha. Yeah, it's amazing because I was the same way. I was like, I started running. I was well into my running career probably, but it got to the point where it's like everybody who knew me and my poor wife, it's like all I would do is just talk about running, and she was like, stop, talk about other things. But with that said, Heather, it is your turn. But who are you? Where did your YouTube channel come from?
Well, I'm Heather, and I run the channel RunningGeekGirl. And I started running almost 6 years ago. I'd always talked about doing a 5K, but just never could get around to doing it. I deal very much with depression. I was diagnosed when I was 19, and I've been medicated ever since. And the doctors kept telling me, you need to add exercise into the mix because that's going to help a lot. And, of course, you just don't do it. So I was depressed and gaining weight, had kids that plunged me into postpartum depression. And my sister talked me into doing a virtual 5K. And so I did a painfully slow 5K on a treadmill, but I finished it. I earned that medal. So I started running after that because after that it's like, well, I did one 5K. What else can I do? So I worked up to a 10K, worked up to a half marathon, tried to work up to a marathon. I was on Suzie's channel to talk about that, how that didn't quite work out for me. But I'm going to be tackling that again, and hopefully start trail running this year. because that's another thing where I keep saying that I'm going to do it, but I just need to do it because I really think I would like it. And started my channel because I remember as I was late to the game getting to running, and I had zero athletic background. I had a lot of questions. I had a lot of things that confused me. I had a lot of stuff that I didn't know. And I thought, if I'm struggling with this, I know there's got to be other runners that are struggling with this too. So why don't I just start putting this information together? And so that's kind of where Running Geek Girl started, was just trying to get what I was learning out there into the world in case anybody needed it. And since then, it's become a little more personal project, with sharing a little bit more about my own running journey, and more recently about my skin cancer diagnosis, and sharing my my whole ordeal with that, because if it can happen to me, it can happen to anybody. So that's just where I'm coming from, and I am like extremely introverted. And so this is kind of forcing me to explore a lot more of the extroverted part of my personality. So being able to learn how to connect with people, and because there's not a huge running community here in town, and so not really a whole lot of people to talk running with. And I'm liking that I'm finding people that share the same passion and the same experiences, and there's people I can learn from all the time. So that's me.
That's amazing. Yeah, I love the fact that we can go online, and the four of us that are doing this live stream together, we're all based in the U.S., I guess, but we would never have met each other ever if it wasn't for the online community. I mean, we would have never known that we all existed, and yet here we are. We're all friends. We're all sharing amazing stories, and we're making more friends with everybody who's in the chat right now. Cool. Thank you for joining in. Who have I not shouted out yet? Shoes up, sleeves down. Thank you for joining. I think I'm caught up at this point. If I'm not, my apologies. I'm still learning how to do
this. And they can ask questions too. So if you have questions for us,
guys, I'd rather be.
This is your chance.
I'd rather be fielding your questions than the ones that I've got sort of banked here. But just to get us started, everybody, I kind of want to ask everybody sort of a two-part question here. What are your proudest moments as a runner, or what is your proudest moment as a runner, if you had to try to nail it down? And conversely, what's your most embarrassing story? Running-related embarrassing story. Is there anybody who wants to jump in?
I could start out with some proud moments. A lot of, I'm not in it to 100% win it, because when I run my races, there's going to be zero chance that I podium, unless active nature happens and I'm the only one left in the race. But I several races, more than one. I was just in it to get a qualifier so I could move on to bigger races, because a lot of the 100K and 100 milers, you need smaller type ultras, just complete them in a time frame to qualify to move on. So several 50 milers that I've run, I've been in situations to where you go back and forth in a race, male and female, and see the same faces running the same paces and stuff like that. I've gotten it happened 2 separate times that I've gotten into later aid stations, and the people were dropping out. And these are people that you spend some time with, especially like on the trails in ultra. You might be running 3 hours back and forth, just making random conversations, going through the same struggles. And as I said, 2 separate races. I had 2 separate groups of people that were dropping out later in the stage of the race. And one of them, I talked to the lady's husband, and I was like, "Do you feel comfortable if I take her under my wing?" I was like, because she's not dropping. It's like we could walk the rest of the race, and she could finish. And
There is no shame in walking.
right. And they were like, "Oh, we don't want you to ruin your race." And I was like, "No, I'm just here to finish." You know, DFL is a badge of honor if I get dead last. DFL, who cares? I just need that time frame under my belt. And 2 separate races, I've walked and run, and got people to finish. And before COVID time, you know, you get to the end, and it's I usually wear Batman shirt because I'm a big Batman fan. So whenever I go to my races, people recognize, "Oh, I remember you, Batman, from like last year or whatever." So when I the 2 separate times, it was like a huge party at the end, you know, lots of hugs, friends with them now on social media. They're always commenting, and I've seen them at other races, and it huge moment of pride for me because, you know, you helped somebody achieve a goal. Running 50 miles is no joke. You know, running a mile is no joke to some people, you know. So like getting people to where they need to be was huge. It was probably more emotional for me than it was for them completing it, because I was there to, you know, hold somebody's hand to get them to the end. So big moment of pride for me with that. That would be my story. If somebody wants to pick up from there, that would be.
That's so awesome. I love that. I mean, that's something absolutely to be proud of, to bring other people along. And, you know, I think that's why we're all, you know, I don't want to talk too much here, but I think that's why we're all in this kind of YouTube game, is because I think we all see the value in helping others to get to where they want to be. It's such a great feeling when you get a comment, you know, that says, you know, thanks for whatever it is, you know, whatever video you posted that helped somebody along. I just love it. I just love that. So Heather, let's change order a little bit here. I'm gonna see if you've got most proud or embarrassing story to share.
Probably just the proudest I ever felt crossing a finish line was my first half marathon. I was kind of undertrained. I've been running for less than a year. And
my dog is taking the spotlight. I'm sorry, guys.
You're not Annie.
She kind of had to push it up.
But it's like I've said before, I didn't check the elevation profile, and it was just up and down hills for the entire 13 miles. And it was raining that day, and I'd never run in the rain before, and I didn't know anything about pacing myself. I didn't know yet how to fuel myself correctly, and it was a big mess. And it took me like nearly 3 hours to finish that first half marathon. I mean, it was miserable, but I crossed that finish line and I started laughing so hard I started crying, because I was just so happy to finish. And I was like, I actually did it. And I was just on a high for the whole week after. So I've gotten faster since then. It's taken a lot of time, but I've gotten faster. Probably only really embarrassing thing that's ever happened during a race was it was a really small town race that I was running in a nearby town, and instead of having signs showing where to turn and stuff like that, they just had people out there saying, okay, go that way. Well, at one point I got to it, and there had been people that had passed ahead of me, and there were people that were way behind me, and I was just running by myself. And I get to a spot where you could either go left or right. And I had no idea. I had zero sense of direction. So I had no way which way I needed to go. And the guy that was supposed to be signaling was all the way across the street playing on his phone. So I was just like, okay. So I yell, which way do I go? And he doesn't hear me. So I was just like, okay. And I go off to the right. I get like maybe, 300 or so feet down, and I see him running after me going, wait, you went the wrong way. And I said, okay, I'm turning around. You go make sure other people don't go the wrong way, okay? So I ran extra that day. So.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I've definitely run a few extra miles in races, especially ultras because you're in the middle of the woods and at times it's at night. And a lot of the races that I'm involved in are very well marked, but you're running 15, 20, 30 hours with no sleep, sometimes no pacer, sometimes you're by yourself for hours.
It's dark, you're tired,
yeah. So I've made some poor choices and decisions during races, and definitely tacked on a few extra miles and time, and you just cry it off and just keep on going.
Oh yeah, that sort of reminds me of Jim Walmsley's story when he was trying to break the world record there. Boy, oh boy.
That's a different thing. I would cry in a different manner doing that.
All right, Suzie, I'm going to put you on the spot. Your most proud and or most embarrassing running moments.
So my proudest definitely was my first marathon because I hit the wall. It was my Corps marathon, and I hit the wall. Like I didn't even know I was hitting it, because there's that moment in which you think you're running, but you're not running anymore.
Was that the race where one of the aid stations ran out of water?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's most people that have run Marine Corps Marathon, if it's hot, they tell you bring your own water because they're going to run out. There's only 8 aid stations throughout the whole course. So they tend to run out of water. Yeah. So what happened in that race is that a friend of mine had run it the year before, and she told me, when you reach like mile 13, 14, halfway through the race, grab the cup and then throw it away because they're going to run out of cups ahead. So just keep your cup so they can refill it with water. So I was holding on to my cup for dear life, and they had plenty of cups, but no water.
Oh, brother.
Oh dear.
So I hit the wall. I was dehydrated. It was pretty hard, but I made it till the end. So I cried. Oh my God, I cried so much. Yeah, I could not even believe that I was like reaching. Like I threatened to quit. I texted my husband because I was going so slow. I was texting him, and I said, "I'm mile 23," and he said, "Come on!" Like I could picture him saying, "If he was like, oh come on, 3.2 miles left. Just push yourself." And my most embarrassing moment was actually in a training run. It was not a race. So I run on these trails that are quite. There's always people on this trail. There's a lot of people walking, running on their bikes. So it was a long run. I needed to use the bathroom. So there's like a little exit on the trail, and there's a lot of bushes. So I just looked one way and the other, and no one was looking. I just went to the left. I hit the bush, and then when I am doing my thing, there's this woman that is thinking the same thing. And I can see her on the other side of the bush. And I didn't know if I should move or just, so finally it was like, well, it could take her long to do that. So I just started getting up, and I say, get out. She almost fell backwards. Weirdest thing, I'm like, I'm so sorry. And I just started running, and it went back to the main trail. So that was interesting. I've never seen her again. So
You both telling the same story independently of each other. Utterly, that's funny.
Yeah.
I definitely had a same type of story. GI issues in 100K, and I went off trail, going down towards like a stream area, and I went off trail a little bit and was taking care of things, and that trail was ended up right where I was. As 3 or 4 girls come running up, and I was like, "Hey, how's it going? I hope I'm not ruining your race." And they're like, "Yeah, whatever," And I just pick up where I left off and kept on running, and we all laughed and never saw them again. But that's how running goes. No judgment on the trail, like we're all out there suffering the same
trail,
suffer.
you see what you see.
Yeah,
right.
I've definitely seen it way too much, and no judgment,
You know what's funny? When I thought of that question, your most embarrassing running story, it occurred to me that it could go down this road, and I,
Yeah, for sure.
It always does with runners.
Exactly. So yeah, if I'm going to take a crack at this, I don't want to be too I don't want to cover the same ground, but I would say probably, I know, Suzie, what you're talking about when you cross that finish line, and Heather, as you said, when you cross that first half marathon finish line, it's that moment of elation is so amazing. But I think what I want to share, especially for the people who are new to running, who are with us tonight and who are going to be watching this in the future, one of the really proud moments for me was 10 years ago. I was 45 pounds overweight. I was scared to go to the doctor because I thought maybe on the verge of heart issues or something like that. So I spent like 9 months walking just to get my weight down. And there was a point, it was midsummer, and it's like a half a mile, it was like a half a mile walk from my office in Charlotte, North Carolina, to where my car is parked. And it was really hot, and I was dressed, in business attire. And I thought to myself, I wonder, I haven't tried to run in 35 years. I wonder if I could run to the car. And I made it. I made it without stopping. And it was like I was probably running at like 4 miles an hour, but nonetheless, it was 1 foot on the ground at a time, so it counts as running. And I remember touching, sorry, if that made too much noise there. I remember touching my car when I got there, and I was like, I can run. I can't believe it. I can run. And that was the beginning. And ever since then, that was the moment that got all this started. It's the reason I'm with you guys right now. As far as embarrassing moments go, I think that beyond the dozens that kind of reflect kind of what you guys were just saying when that kind of stuff happened to me, a safe embarrassing moment for me was probably, sorry, my dog's going crazy behind me. I went to run the route for my first half marathon a couple of weeks before the race, just to kind of get familiar with it. And I got about 3 or 4 miles in and realized I was utterly lost. I tried to memorize all the turns and stuff like that before I went out, and I was lost. So I got on the cell phone, and it took my wife probably 45 minutes or an hour to find me. Those ridiculous moments where you feel about this big when you're done.
So since you guys aren't like into the 100-milers and stuff like that, do you guys study your race maps for like half marathons and full marathons? So you guys really do? Because I don't like marathons and under because it's too fast, and like sprinting is not fun. So do you guys work out your pace goals like per mile? Do you have like certain things like how do you run your strategies? Are you working like calories per mile or hour? Are you like nutrition is like a really struggle for me, like in these distance races, because I'm supposed to average 200 to 300 calories per hour, and that's kind of hard to do depending on like your elevation profile and terrain, and then weather and heat and stuff. So let's start out, like, are you guys studying your race, and are you guys developing a game plan for your race? How does that work mentally for any of you three?
I can jump all over this answer, but I want to give Heather and Suzie a chance.
I do. I typically take a gel every 5 miles.
Okay.
And I always look at the profile elevation, and I know kind of, okay, if I'm going to, I know where the tables with the water are, because I walk through the water tables. I never run through them. I always grab the water at the beginning, and then I take that as a break, just to break up time. So I grab water from the first table as soon as I can, and then I just walk till the end and throw it in the garbage can, and then I start running again. That's kind of my I'm very superstitious, and that's a thing that I always, no matter how fast I want to run, I always do that. Oops. And I sort of have superstitions.
You gotta love a live stream, right?
That was funny. So yeah, I am very I take exactly the same breakfast. I take water up to a certain amount of water right before, like an hour before the race. I go to the bathroom at a certain time. Like I do all that exactly. I'm like very, very structured. And I take a gel every 5 miles.
Are you taking gels every 5 miles during your training runs as well?
No.
You're not structuring your training as your race and vice versa?
No, usually when I'm doing like really, really long runs, like more than 15 or 16 miles, then I would have like maybe a gel in there. But my stomach is not, I don't have issues ever if I take too much sugar or anything like that. Now, I'm going to say this, and next race is going to
right.
be fun. I'm touching wood right now. So, but no, it's just because I feel like if I am deprived of the carbs when I'm training, my body, when I give my body the carbs, I do a lot better. Like I can just feel it. Maybe it could be placebo, but I just feel a lot more stronger. But if there's, I might change. Like I ran a race in Central Park, and there was a hill, like a very inclined hill at the very end. I think it was like a mile and a half before the finish line. So I took a gel right before that. And just that, I don't know, that flavor, that electrolytes in my tongue, they just make me happy. And yeah. So I look at the incline, the places where the tables are. I look at all that and I have it in my mind. Yeah.
Let me just give you a hint and tip for trail that I was looking at profile as well, because a lot of it, like some of my 100 milers have 20,000 feet a gain and stuff like that. So yeah, you look and you say, oh, well, there's an up and then there's a down here. I'll make up time on the down, but a lot of that down is not runnable. It's like crab crawling down terrain. So like you have to have a different realistic budget in your brain, because I know on road races, I see that when I was running marathons, like, oh, yeah, there's going to be a downhill. I can make up some time in this area. It's not always the case in trail. So.
Gotcha.
Oh, I see Katie in chat. Hey, Katie. Love you, girl.
Yeah, everybody. Let me do some more shout outs here. Reclaim Your Life. Thank you for joining. KDC, thank you for jumping in. I know I'm probably missing a couple that have already kind of scrolled upwards, but thank you everyone for being here. Thanks for sticking around and sticking with us. We're having a ton of fun. I hope this is fun for everybody. So Heather, how do you approach races?
I try to use my long runs as a kind of a practice run of how I want things to go, how I wish things would go. But you never can control race day, and least of all the weather. And the weather is like always the biggest factor. But I will typically, for any run over 10 miles, then I'll fuel after, I usually, hydrate after 5 miles, and then I hydrate every 2 miles after that, and I'll usually do a gel, a chew, whatever it is that I'm doing that day, about every 2 to 4 miles. And I can definitely tell when I'm needing one, because I can like literally just feel the life draining out of me, and I'm like, oh, gel time. So
yeah,
I try to head it off at the pass, but I don't always catch it. So
yeah,
anything below 10 miles, I'll do a quick hydration stop halfway through and then just keep going.
Gotcha.
Do you guys carry like a pack? Like I have a hydration pack usually. I have that on 10 plus miles, because then I have usually throw like 32 ounce Gatorade and then top it off with water, and then I have my nutrition is I use applesauce packets.
Cool.
My two dogs are sleeping on the side of her. I use applesauce pouches because they're sort of like a gel. They're around 70 calories, 70, 90 calories, and about 25 grams of carbs. And that's what I'm actually looking at. Easy to, slurp down. And I do Pop-Tarts. Pop-Tarts are, 2 Pop-Tarts. The ones that I use are around 450 calories and like 80 grams of carbs. Very hard to chew and run later on in the game. That's why I have the applesauces and whatnot. But I have a mass quantities of them with me when I'm running. Anything 10 or under, though, maybe a handheld I'll bring. Maybe summertime, yes.
Okay.
And if I'm with people that are bringing a pack or something, I'll be like, yo, we carry my water bottle and I throw it in theirs. And I'm like selfish like that. But like other than that, like 10 or more, I'm carrying a pack with stuff. 10 or less, I'm not. Do you guys have a pack marathon and stuff like that?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of packs. To the point where just to address what you're saying, Rosser, 10 miles and under, yeah, I'd run without fuel, without water, with the exception of, like, especially down here. Yeah, in the summertime, I can't. Even like a 6 miler, I'll keep my handheld with me.
Right.
But as far as packs go, usually, like I said, 10 and below, I just go out and run. That 10 to 15 mile range is when my handheld comes with me, and then 16 and above is my pack. And it's funny because even though I'm a road runner, a road racer, every marathon I've ever run has been with a pack on my back. I've never, because I don't stop at the fuel stations. I just blow past them. I just like once the gun goes off at the start line, I don't stop till I hit the finish line. So it's convenient in that you can count on the fuel that you're used to. But
Right.
at the same time, it's so monotonous when you don't stop for anything.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when you have your Camelback, you drink on demand. So that's something that then when you're racing, because you don't have your Camelback and you're dependent upon the tables when they actually offer water.
Yeah.
It's sometimes your struggle that last half mile before you get to the table. It's like, where's the water? Because
Right.
you're used to your Camelback and drinking when you want to and when you're thirsty. So
Yep.
yeah,
So I wanna
Camelbacks are awesome.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And Nathan packs are my favorite packs. Though I just bought an Ultra Spire race pack, which I'm absolutely in love with. I want to ask a question of everybody. I can't see how I could be the only one that this has ever happened to, but before your long run, you go into your cupboard and your stores, wherever you keep all your gels and all your drinks and all your mixes and stuff. You find out that you are completely out of all the stuff that you need. What is the weirdest concoction you've ever used to try to get through a long run, or have you ever been in that situation? For me, I had to mix at one point. The weirdest one I ever did, which did not work well, I stay away from this, was a mix of Gatorade and yesterday's leftover cold coffee poured into my backpack, and then I went running. It was horrible.
Yeah. Never done scientific experiments before. I've screwed around with different types of nutrition. Like we tried a few different running partners and stuff like that. We tried like freezing bananas to take with us, and that turned out terrible. It all depends on the individual. Like I don't like some of the people I run with, they need salt, so they take like chips and pretzels. That's not a me thing. Some people require like certain sweets, which it depends on where I am But like, if I don't have my normal, I take whatever. Worst comes to worst, it's just water, and I struggle with the calorie deficit, and I just do my best, because you have to learn to adapt, because weather, like every race that you're going to run into, there's going to be some type of obstacle that was not planned for. So you might be running 10 plus miles without any food or water, or just the wrong food and water. So sometimes you take it as a training scenario and do the best you can. Maybe not mix coffee and Gatorade, but like if you have to, that's the way you got to go, man. Because that you might run into that situation in the future. And I usually just grab what I can. Worst comes to worst, it's water, and I just pull back a little bit, so like I wouldn't push it extremely hard, especially if it's just me. And I live in country land, so at times my cell phone is very spotty. So like if I do get injured or heat stroke or something like that, I just have to be careful, because I can't call my wife and be like, yo, come get me, because I might be in an area where I can't. So, I just gotta, on my end, I just adapt the best that I can. So
I've taken
when my kids were younger, baby food, particularly the packets of like fruit and stuff like that, was always a quick thing that you could grab. So.
I look at that just like applesauce.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I have taken clementines because they're easy to peel.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are really good
ideas.
Yeah, because a lot of the ultras and stuff like that at the aid stations, it's tons of fruit. So watermelons are really big, orange slices. That's the stuff that I like. So when I'm training, yes, clementines, I've taken a bunch of them. It's a good sugar boost, and it tastes good as well. And it's biodegradable, so
they're easy to pack.
And they're tiny,
yeah.
So you can put them. I can put them in my camelback in the front. 4 clementines.
There you go. Right.
That's awesome. So how do you guys feel about caffeine in general? Do you do well with it? Is it something that you have to have for long runs and races, or am I the only one who's utterly addicted?
I just need caffeine to get through a normal day.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm a coffee person, especially because of the military. Used to drink tons of soda, backed off a lot. I'm a Dr. Pepper person, so I have to have that once in a while. Races, I drink soda during races because it's heavenly. It's when I get to certain aid stations, it definitely helps out. And caffeine, especially when I'm running, 100K, 100 milers, I have to chug something just to stay awake at times, to keep my brain like a little bit focused, because you get out of focus and you make a wrong step, you roll an ankle and hurt yourself, or you miss a blaze or something like that, a flag, and you get lost and you run extra miles and you pay for it. So
I can't wait for the thrill of all that in my future.
Oh, it's super fun.
I really want to try an ultra, but I need someone to come with me, because my sense of direction is just awful. I am 100% sure I would get lost. So the longer the race, the more times I would get lost. So
I go solo on all mine, and I meet people at the race. So if I'm running and you're running with me for the first couple miles, you get to know people, and like you bounce back and forth. So they become your friends, they become your eyes and ears on stuff. There's been many races. The last 100 miler that I did, I ran with a lady for 2 to 3 aid stations. It must have been like 3 hours. And the one aid station we've been running for like an hour or two the whole time. And I got there and I turned around and I shook her hand and was like, "It's nice to meet you," because I knew everything about her and I didn't see her face for like 2 hours. I knew her background story, like we meshed very well. She had like big like horns in her ears and stuff like that. It was not somebody that I would normally come up to and talk to in person, but we were perfect for each other for that time frame. And like I talk to her now online and everything. We're friends. Like I meet the people there. That's part of the experience for me. Is as I said, I'm not going there to the podium. I'm going there to have a good time and try to accomplish a goal. If I accomplish it, yes. And if I don't, hey, I take the lesson and I have fun and I meet people. So don't be afraid of an ultra.
The people are telling me if you can get through a marathon, you could get through a 50K. And I'm like,
yes,
I just got to get up the nerve to do it.
Yeah,
I'm sure you can. I mean, you just have to pace yourself. And I think, or people say that when you're doing trail, it's because you're not constantly like in a road race.
Mm-hmm.
Some people walk, but your ultimate goal is to run the whole thing. Whereas you're doing an ultra, you're doing UTMB or one of these big races, even the elite athletes, they walk. There's like special, there's places where they have to walk. So I really want to do one. Another thing that I really would love to do is one of those orienteering races that are adventure races where you go in a kayak, that you're paddling, and then you go up and you go like up the mountain. It'd probably be a disaster, but I would still love to do it.
Yeah, I'm afraid of those because I don't have a GPS up here. So like
me neither. But
like
again,
a Barkley Marathon.
Team environment,
yes.
Completely do it.
Yes, I can motivate people in certain areas, and it could keep me going straight.
Right.
Yeah.
And I am such a good, soldier. Like if someone told me you do this and you do a fire and go here, I would go do it. I would do nothing that I have to think. If someone gives me the order, I would do it and deliver.
Right.
But I think they have to be so much fun. Just the adventure and they have to be. I mean,
have you ever done like a Tough Mudder or like a Spartan race or anything?
No, but I really wanted to, like, especially a Spartan. I would love to do a Spartan.
Yeah, I've done a few of them. I got a couple teams together, and my wife and a few of my friends. There's tons of people that were like not in shape at all, and I coerced them into going. And like you're just gonna get muddy and like do dumb things with me. And it's not like you're running for a gold medal, so like you walk through the whole thing and you maybe flip a tire or try to climb a rope and you're in tons of mud, pushing each other's butts up a wall or something. Super fun. Yeah, super fun.
Yeah, I bet.
Pure adventure right there. Guys, I'm going to ask a quick question. First, let me do this. I want to shout out Michael Bartlett. I saw his name go past on the list. He was my partner in crime for the 5K time trial and the 10K time trial. Yeah, he's awesome. I'm glad he made it. Guys, I'm going to ask a quick question to the three of you. How long do you guys want to go on this? Are we cutting it an hour? The only reason I ask is because I do have like another sort of two-sided question that I want to ask before we get out the door. And if we're going to cut this try to cut right around 8 o'clock, I feel like I should ask that question now because we'll probably spend a good 10, 15 minutes addressing this one.
Let's do that up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
All right.
We don't have to put an exact time frame on things, but like get what you need out of the way, and we'll just have fun with everything.
All right. Cool.
We're not turning into pumpkins.
There you go. That's right. Right.
The only other thing I'm not going tonight is BattleBots is on. So.
All right, Heather, I'm going to aim this one at you first.
My husband says I should really live stream my reactions to that because I yell at the TV like most people yell at football games. So.
I was going to say, I'm not allowed to watch the World Series anymore just because I spend the entire night screaming at the television.
Well, the Cubs won in 2016, and that was like the pinnacle of my baseball fandom, and I I cried, and it was a beautiful thing, and I don't think I can ever come back from that.
All right, Heather, I'm going to ask this question of you first.
Okay.
If you're not ready for it, we can just bounce it elsewhere. No big deal. But this is one of my sort of famous amorphous catch-all type questions. Answer it any way you want to. What do you love the most about running, and what do you hate the most about running?
What I love the most about it is just kind of the sense of purpose that it gives me. I mean, as silly as that sounds, me running in circles for, an hour or so, it just, I feel like I've done something, and I've done something good for my body. I've done something good for my mind, and I've done something to take care of myself. I've done something that challenges me, and so that it helps out in so many different ways. And it took me so many years to figure out that the only way I could keep up with everything around me is if I took care of myself. That was the one thing that I was missing. And so that's really kind of brought a whole lot of it together. What I don't like about it are, and thankfully I don't run into these people very much, but the people who can be very elitist about it, the ones that say, if you have to walk at any point, then you're not really running, because my coach told me that runners don't walk. And, the people that, they want to, they're gatekeeping running, and running is supposed to be for anybody who wants to do it. I think, my parents, they saw me get so excited about running that now the two of them, they walk 5 miles every day, and they've been doing that for a couple of years now. And they do 5Ks, and even though they walk it, I'm like, you did a 5K, and so they deserve as much congratulations as the people who ran it in 18 minutes. And I think that's great. So I love the sense of purpose that it gives me, and what it does for me, but don't like the people that want to gatekeep it.
Well said. Who wants to jump in next?
I can go.
Yeah. You go ahead, Suzie.
No,
Go for
you
it.
can go, Brian. No, you go.
I usually steamroll every conversation. So yeah, yep. I use it. The good part of it is I use it as a coping mechanism. I have many. I call it crazies: depression, bipolar, PTSD. I suffer from migraines really bad. With the bipolar, it comes with the addiction type stuff. So I use it as a coping mechanism, and I feel that because of what I do, I'm able to reach normal people that don't run, or they see that I do have similar struggles as they do, and I'm able to reach people that I wouldn't normally reach. And I have right now I run, I'm dedicating this last year or two to suicide prevention. I had a few friends that took their lives, so I'm able to reach people that I wouldn't normally be able to reach and help, and I know I made a difference to people, and it's because of running, and they could see that who I am and what I do, and I'm able to make a difference and work through certain things. I'm not perfect, and I don't have all the answers, but they could see that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and I think I'm actually reaching people. So that would be the good parts. The bad parts is I'm dependent on running. So if I'm going through some bad times, and at times when the switches off, I can't move. I'm in bed, I could just get up to work, which is a struggle. I'm in physical and mental pain. I lose motor skills, verbal skills. I get migraines from it. and I have no release. And at times it might be like a full week or so that I'm in that downward spiral, stuck. And it echoes in my brain like, you just got to get out and move and run. And I can't. And that's where a lot of the addiction problems were before, because it was just easier to drink or smoke or something to get through the day. But that's a Band-Aid fix. This is a habit that I'm involved in now. It's a lifestyle to where like my eating is way healthier. My sleep cycles are a little bit better than before, but like everything is in a positive direction. So, but I am truly dependent on running now as a coping mechanism. So that would be the pro con of it, because without it, at times it amplifies the negative stuff when I can't use it. So there you go. Your turn, Susie.
My favorite thing about running is just the sense of freedom. It's just like you don't need anything or anybody. Yes, you know, you make friends, you can run with people, you can sign up for races. There's a lot of things you can do, but ultimately, today at the end of the day, at 5:05, I was like, my brain was about to explode from work. I put on my shoes. I got out and I was happy for 25 minutes, like extremely happy. And it's just that sense of like, I don't need anything. I don't need anybody. I just go out and just clear my head, and that sense of freedom of just, you know, like you can be on a trip somewhere and all you need is your running shoes and just you go out there and run around the block or whatever you want. So that sense of just joy and freedom, that's what I like the most from running. And what I like the least is that I can't do it more. Like I wish I could, like sometimes I think when I get retired, I'm going to be able to run so much. Because some days I would just, you're constrained by time. And it's like, okay, I need to go back because I need to be in front of my computer or I have a call or I need to make dinner. But if I didn't have anything to do, I would run so much more. Like truly, because it just, if I didn't have time constraints, I would just keep going. Sometimes on the weekends, if it's a nice day, I come back home exhausted. I take a shower, I lay down, and it's like, oh my God. If I had strength right now, I would go out again. It's just that I can't move.
Right.
So, yeah. I wish my body allowed me to run more.
Yeah, it's funny.
Also, another negative would be that it starts out so simple. And then the more invested you get in running, the more money you have to spend because you need the shoes, you need the gels, you got the race entries.
Oh yeah, it's so funny because that's the way everybody talks about running. Is it's like it's a great way to get healthy and it's so cheap compared to other sports, but
it's not.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what? There was a study by I think it was Runner's World that the average income of someone subscribed to Runner's World was $140,000 a year, whereas the average income of someone subscribed to Forbes was $80,000. So it's like people who run make more money in general. It's probably, you know, it's just, it's the lifestyle and how expensive and traveling for races and all that. Yeah.
Well, the running mentality is probably a more structured mentality. So business people and things like that are probably more structured. So they probably do have a higher income.
I agree with you completely. I think I know so many type A personalities who are runners at this point. It's just like, you know, like you give them a goal and it's like hook or crook, no matter what, they're going to find a way to cross that line or achieve that goal. And it's like, you know, I can identify with it because, you know, I get a little too much that way sometimes. But I think I'd say as far as what I love the most about running, it's probably getting out there. Like once I'm midstream, it doesn't even have to be like a super long run. Like, for example, like last Friday, I went out for 12 miles and I was only like 4 miles in. And you know, when you hit that zone, when you get into that meditative zen and just everything in the world is perfect and it's like nothing, you're just, you know, you're just bulletproof. And I don't even mean that physically. You just get into a zone mentally where it's like all the stupid stuff that's been weighing you down all day, suddenly you see the light, you know, and it's just everything is so, you get back home and you're like, oh, why was I being such a jerk before? Like, you know, and then on the opposite side of that, what do I hate the most about running? It's going to sound trite, but getting ready to get out the door to run is the worst. All the preparation for me, I always end up like going back to the house or going back upstairs 3 or 4 times. Like, I forgot this, I forgot that. I can't tell you how many times I've headed out the door, ready to go, pumped up, and I get to, and I literally start running, and then I look down at my wrist and I don't have my watch, so I have to go back upstairs, and it's like,
yeah, then it doesn't count, right?
Cool, guys. So I don't know if there's anything else anybody wants to add. Feel absolutely free. I do not want to feel like I'm trying to control anything or anyone here, but if everybody's cool, we may want to wrap it up.
Yeah, I want to say thank you to everybody. This is definitely, as we talked a little bit before we started, new experience for me. This year has been weird social media wise, to where I really didn't start pushing any YouTube or anything until I would say about June of this past year, to where I started to put like a little bit more effort into it. And with podcasting, like I listen to Susie's all the time. I'm starting to dive into that. Like this is a new realm, and I think it's super awesome. I want to thank you guys for inviting me, because like I would like to do this on my own. I wouldn't reach out to you guys and say, hey, I have a cool idea, let's do this. Now that you guys did it for me, when you did it to me, I was like, yeah, let's do it, man. Yeah, I'm up for it. If you got it organized, you're doing all the footwork, that's great. And now that I see how it's done, I'm into this. So like, yeah, let's do it again sometime. Yeah,
I'm so glad to hear that.
Next month I am hosting. So
there you go.
Exactly.
Whoever's
so everybody,
you will see posts about it.
Exactly. Let me. I'm sorry that I didn't even say all that yet. But everybody who's watching us right now, and everybody who's watching in the future, keep in mind this is merely live stream number 1. The Masters of YouTube is going to be an ongoing series, and each month we're going to be coming to you from a different host's YouTube channel. Suzie will be hosting next month. We'll announce. You'll see the advertisements everywhere. Follow all of our Instagrams, follow all of our YouTubes, subscribe. I have to get in the shameless plug. Everybody subscribe to all 4 of us, because
like this video.
Exactly. Like this video, drop a comment, subscribe, and ding that bell. So you're guaranteed not to miss a thing. And I want everybody to have a chance to sign off, as Brian did, as Rosser did. And but let me just say how thankful I am to all of you for being part of this project. It's only going to get better and better. So, and to everybody who's joined us in the chat and watched along, thank you so much. To take this from just a germ of an idea to getting these amazing people to join me on screen here is just, it's humbling. I mean, just to say it flat out, I'm just some goofy guy who likes to run and talk about it endlessly. And to find like-minded souls, it's heartwarming. And thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Thanks, Paul.
Awesome, everybody. We'll catch you next time, and thanks again. Have a great
Thanks,
night.
everybody, who watched.
Thank you, guys.
Subscribe.
Thank you, peace out.
Bye-bye.